Alright mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. Today could be quite an interesting one. I've had a little bit of a different idea. You may have seen recently a lot of people have been getting in trouble for like tweets they've done in the past, things they've said. Years and years have passed since then, and then people have now gone back and found those tweets and retweeted them. Happened to Andre Gray of Burnley recently. A few people, these little trolls on Twitter, were looking through all my old tweets, trying to find dodgy stuff I've ever said, and there was some weird stuff in there, nothing like Andre Gray obviously, but some weird things, so it made me look back and see what I've been saying since I started Twitter. Now, I actually started Twitter back in 2009. Okay, so that's like 7 years ago. And obviously, I've changed a lot as a person in those 7 years. So when I was going through looking at those tweets, I was seeing things which were like making me laugh, like silly things I just randomly said, things which are quite kind of poignant in my life that show what I was thinking at a certain point in time and how that might have actually had a snowball effect and led to something down the line. And obviously where I am now. So we're going to take a look back at some of my old tweets, some of the poignant ones, some of the ridiculous ones, some of the weird ones, have a little bit of a laugh at them, and hopefully it could be an interesting little experiment, okay? So let's do it. Right, so first things first, we're going to take a look at where I am now on Twitter. I've got just over 450,000 followers. I've done almost 20,000 tweets, so you can imagine how long it's taken me to look through all these tweets. Some of them would have been replies to people or whatever, but a lot of tweets. You can also see it says I joined in March 2009. So let's take it back to March 2009 and see what my first ever tweet was. Okay, here it is. Spencer Owen is performing at the Chortle Student Comedy Awards Cambridge Heat on Monday. That was my first ever tweet, done at 1 on the 6th of March 2009, okay? So this was back when I was doing stand-up. I was at a uni. I think I would have been 20 years old at this point in time, and it was my actual first ever proper stand-up gig. And I went to Cambridge University for it, and it was actually quite a decent competition. People like Simon Bird from the In-Betweeners took part in it, Tom Rosenthal, you've seen on my channel maybe recently, so some pretty prestigious comedians in there. It went okay on the night. Okay, so that was my first ever tweet and my first ever stand-up gig, so that's where I was at, Twitter 2009, fresh on the platform. Let's move on. Now this is an interesting one, jumping forward to April 2009 now, and I've said Spencer Owen is about to watch some UFC, which has my friend's brother fighting. Brave guy. Now this is poignant because that friend I'm talking about is obviously my girlfriend, Alex O'Shipchak, but back then we weren't going out, we were just friends from university, and obviously Nick O'Shipchak, Alex's brother, he's like a part of our family now, like I'm very good friends with him, very close with him, but back at a point, 2009, like 7-8 years ago, I was just saying, oh, it's my friend's brother fighting on UFC. Like, it was just a kind of throwaway comment. So that's quite interesting to see how times have changed. Okay, skipping forward about 6 months now, September 2009, I said, finished my internship at Channel 4 today. Very sad to be leaving. We'll miss everyone a lot. This one's interesting because I just spent the summer between 2nd and 3rd year of university on an internship at Channel 4. Really enjoyed it. Very interesting glimpse into the industry. I was already at this point quite interested in getting into like TV or production or making content of some kind. Didn't know quite where it would go. I'd made some videos on YouTube at this point. In fact, my first YouTube uploads predated my first tweet. I think I did it in 2008 on YouTube. But obviously it's not a big part of my life. I'm not tweeting about YouTube a lot at this point. And I've just finished the internship, and that internship was great. And I do encourage anyone that's maybe at school or in between university terms or whatever to get involved in stuff like this. It looks great on your CV. It shows that you're productive and you're interested in getting further in the industry, and you're happy to work a lot of the time for no pay. But it's a stepping stone, and that internship helped me get a lot of other opportunities in the future. Later on that month, I tweeted out, had a great gig last night, got into the final of Reading Comedy Festival's New Act of the Year. It's another stand-up related tweet. New Act competitions are a way for people that are just starting stand-up to try and get recognised. And my intentions at this point with stand-up was actually, I always wanted to do radio. I had a student radio show at university. I used to do hospital radio when I was a kid, and I'd seen some people, actually a good friend of mine, like Tom Deacon, who I didn't know at the time, now I know, he actually won the Chortle comedy competition that I mentioned in my first tweet. He won that a few years prior to me, and then ended up getting a job as a DJ on Radio 1. And I saw that and I was quite inspired by that, so I started doing comedy as a result. And here obviously I got to the final, and in that final I think I competed against Rob Beckett, you may be familiar with now, on a lot of the panel shows and stuff on TV. He won that event. I didn't win it. That's why I don't do stand-up anymore. Moving forward to 15th October 2009, funnily enough, this would have been my 21st birthday, and I tweeted out, Gandhi inaccuracy. An eye for an eye does not leave the whole world blind, it makes the whole world pirates. 2 weeks later, I tweeted, "I'm thinking about quitting the internet." And yes, I realised the irony of me posting this as a tweet. So this is starting my final year at university now, and I'd read a few different books about people that were going travelling and done things and sort of got off the grid, you know, and I was actually really inspired to do that. I read a particular book called Into the Wild, you might have seen a film as well, about this guy who went to Alaska. I won't spoil it for you, I won't tell you what happens at the end, but check it out. That really inspired me, sort of getting away from the modern world. And to be honest, I never really did it. And obviously now my job is very, very related to this internet world. And it shows how times have changed. But that was 1st of November 2009. I like this one a couple of weeks later again. "A large part of me wants to see the new Twilight film, but a bigger part of me knows none of my housemates will go and they will laugh at me." And that is a great example of how I felt sometimes at uni, because I felt like I was in two sides. I felt like one side of me was this sort of football lad. I played football for uni, all my mates played football for uni, a load of my housemates did, and you know, I was just a kind of football lad in that sense. But on the other side, I had this very different side of my personality where I was doing stand-up. I was going into London like multiple times a week to do stand-up comedy, which obviously isn't that normal. I was doing my radio show, I was doing YouTube videos, I was tweeting stuff about the Twilight films that a lot of the traditional football lads, you know, would have given you a lot of banter for. So I kind of kept those two worlds a little bit separate, to be honest. I wasn't embarrassed by the kind of other stuff I did, but it was more like the football guys wouldn't understand it, so I didn't used to talk to them about it a lot. And at this point in time, not a lot of people were on Twitter, so it was almost like me talking to no one really. It was more like a micro blog, you know, I was just blogging my thoughts. Now, the first FIFA related tweet, also in November 2009. I've tweeted out, "Are there any graduate schemes for professional FIFA tutors? I'm available for £30 an hour. I'll teach you the ins and outs in no time." So already at this point I was backing myself as someone that thought they were quite good at FIFA. Not sure if I'd really say I'm qualified to be a tutor these days. Maybe I've got worse, I don't know. And also it shows that I was looking about job opportunities and I was thinking outside the box. How else could I make some money apart from going down the traditional work route? Maybe I could be a FIFA tutor. Didn't work out for me, but it shows you the way my mind was thinking. Now this is a sad one, December 2009. "I'm really chuffed with the World Cup draw. Let's do them." Talking about England's World Cup draw for the 2010 World Cup. We all know that didn't work out very well, and yet again it's an example of English football optimism that was quickly dashed the following summer when we absolutely mugged ourselves off under Fabio Capello. Not a good World Cup for England. Now this one still confuses me, to be honest. I tweeted this question out in March 2010. I said, "Why are Newcastle United known as the Magpies when their badge has 2 seahorses and a lion on it?" I mean, that's a lot of animals. I've said too many creatures and I've hashtagged it football animals. Anyone know the answer to that? Why Newcastle got like 3 different animals going on? Work it out, choose one. Also in March 2010, I've tweeted out, "No motivation for uni work, massive motivation for the rest of my life." Now, this is getting to the end of my uni time here. I was probably working on my dissertation here, English literature degree is what I did. And I couldn't motivate myself to do it. I had too many eggs in different baskets. I was doing stand-up, I was playing lots of football, I was making YouTube videos, and I found it hard. I mean, I did finish it and I got through it, but it shows you I wasn't like I was lazy or anything. I had huge motivation for what I wanted to do. I just didn't really feel that this degree I was working on was really going to help me that much. Alright, this next one's another misguided World Cup related tweet. Very shortly before the 2010 World Cup began, I tweeted out, "Joe Cole will win us this World Cup." How wrong I was. Now, not long after that one, 17th of August 2010, "I need to find some kind of way of generating income by doing things I like." Now this, as a rule of thumb, is something I've lived by for all my kind of work life since I left university. I've never ever done jobs I didn't want to do. I've always been very honest about that. As soon as I've had a job, no matter how good it seems, and I've not enjoyed it, I've left that job. Because I just think life is too short, right? And this is something that could be very important for you guys who are maybe leaving school, maybe just on your GCSEs, your A-levels, leaving your degree, and you're thinking about what you want to do with your life. And you know, obviously, whatever you choose is up to you, but my personal preference was not to waste any time doing something I didn't want to do. 2 days later, I tweeted out congratulations to Saunders. Congratulations to my brother Saunders CB for smashing his A-levels and getting into UEA, University of East Anglia. Now he just needs to get some banter. Now that's quite a funny tweet because he did smash it, he did really well, but some things never change. He still needs to get some banter, son. Come on, get some. This was a busy month for me. 23rd of August 2010, I tweeted out, "Spencer Owen has just made a video about Mountain Dew. We'll post it shortly." Now why am I highlighting this tweet? This was one of the first videos on YouTube that actually kind of led somewhere for me. It actually got me a little bit of a boost in subscribers and views. I remember it was a silly video where I was basically making up fake advertising slogans for Mountain Dew. They're all like a little bit of a joke. And I tweeted it out to people. I used to do a lot of tweeting, trying to get people to view it, sticking it on Facebook, trying to get my friends to share it, etc. But this one blew up to an extent because Mountain Dew actually put it on their Facebook page. Now, they had a couple million likes on their Facebook page. As a result, the video got about 10 or 15,000 views. That was the first time I'd got anywhere near that view total. At that point, I was probably getting less than 1,000 views on every video. And these videos weren't football based at this time. They were mostly kind of comedy based. So I came home. This is obviously at a time when you have all your email alerts still on. And I had hundreds, if not thousands of emails saying, you know, X, Y, and Z have subscribed to you on YouTube. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And it was my first taste of like mini virality of a YouTube video, and I loved it. So shout out to Mountain Dew for sharing that video and giving me the encouragement to keep doing it. But just a few days later, I did a tweet which is also really important. It shows you how powerful Twitter can be in someone's life. I tweeted a company called Big Balls Films, and I said, hey, any opportunities for a recent graduate to get some experience with you guys, just looking to learn, not expecting pay. Now, why do I bring this up? Big Balls Films are a production company that led to me having a lot of opportunities. First off, they put me in touch with a sister company they had. Off the back of this tweet, I ended up working for a company called We Are Interactive on a computer game, a football computer game called I Am Player. I'd had no expectations to work in either football or gaming at this point, even though I loved both things. And thanks to this tweet, essentially, I got in with We Are Interactive and worked on I Am Player. Shortly after that, I went over to Big Balls, worked on some production stuff for them, obviously stayed in touch with those guys. They then introduced me to the manager of Vincent Kompany, who I went and worked for on a social media job for a while, obviously Man City captain. And then Big Balls Films won the contract from YouTube to make an originals channel called Copper 90, which I went and worked for, and that's led to loads of things, and more importantly to my YouTube channel now. And it all came from a tweet. So if you're out there and you're not sure what to do and you're looking for experiences and you're open to doing stuff for free at first, you know, or just for expenses or whatever to get yourself going, don't underestimate the power of Twitter. People do read these tweets and it could lead somewhere. It did for me. Oh, hang on, before we crack on, I've got to show you this. This isn't an actual tweet. This is what my Twitter profile looked like at a certain point, on November 17th, 2010. I had 338 followers. Not bad. Listen to this though, this is my bio. Absolute nonsense. Such a little mug. Welcome to the ramblings of my think box. Step inside, but take your shoes off first. I talk rubbish, but the good news is it's recyclable. What does that mean? I mean, that is a great example of the sort of gibberish I used to tweet around this time. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, jumping forward to the 21st of February 2011. My top tip for 2011 is Adele. She's going to be massive. And I was right on 2 counts. Okay, 13th of March 2011, Spencer Owen is off to play in the League Cup final for Little Baddow Football Club at Haybridge Swifts Stadium. Come on the Baddow boys. This was a really cool day for me. It's my Sunday League team from near where I'm from originally. And we won the cup final and I scored a penalty in the penalty shootout. Alex and my parents were there to watch it. Great day out, the start of my Sunday League journey. Now sad time, 16th of May 2011, West Ham had just been relegated from the Premier League for the second time in my lifetime. And I've tweeted out, it's a sad day when you're actually happy for your best player to be leaving your club because Scott Parker deserves so much better. Hashtag relegation. And that was actually an interesting one because Scott Parker won the Writers' Player of the Year award despite the fact he played in a team that went down. That's how good Scott Parker was, and that's why I wished better things for him and was happy to see him leave West Ham. Okay, July 2011, my last day in the We Are tweeting as the We Are Interactive office, going for goodbye drinks now, table football at Bar Kick. This is it, don't get scared now. This was an interesting one because I said to you earlier about how I never wanted to do jobs that I didn't find interesting anymore, and not to take anything away from We Are Interactive. I loved the guys there, had a great time there. Shout out to Ollie Madgett, the guy that got me in there, top bloke if you're watching, Ollie. But I'd run my course with that job. Right, and it's interesting because I didn't actually leave this job to directly go and work with Vincent Kompany. I actually just left the job. I'd been offered to do some comparing, which is like presenting of festivals around the UK. I'd be going around, it's actually for Cadbury, going around presenting this game show at festivals like Boardmasters, Wakestock. One was called Wakestock. There was about 5 or 6 of them in different locations. And I basically quit the job to do that. It wasn't like super good money and it wasn't going to last forever. It was just for one summer. But I didn't want to do that job anymore. So I went to do something else that I found interesting. And I left We Are. So that was the end of one chapter. Okay, so by this point, 18th of December, I was now working for Vincent Kompany. I got an offer to go and work for him. I did an interview. I met him. I got the job. And one thing I discovered when I went up to Manchester, I used to go up to the City games, every home game. I actually saw Kolo Touré walk into the stadium fully dressed in like a long trench coat with a briefcase, and that is genuine truth. I've seen it with my own eyes, and apparently he used to go to games like that a lot. It was like a disguise, whereas the other players had to be like snuck around the underground tunnel entrance or whatever. He walked straight through the crowd outside the stadium and no one blinked an eye because he looked like Inspector Gadget. He's a genius. Here we go, also December 2011. I was working Vincent Company, yes, but I was also doing other stuff freelance, including more presenting, stand-up comedy and stuff like that. And here's me actually working and standing behind Christine Bleakley, you may know is Frank Lampard's wife now, and obviously a TV presenter, quite famous in the UK. And we worked together on something around the Olympics, I think. In Westfields in London. Okay, March 2012, another tweet, another attempt from me to be funny. I've said, had to buy a PS3 and a selection of sandwiches for the office toilet, as there was a sign in it that says, please leave as you'd wish to find it. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's how I'd like to find a toilet. Now look at this, May 2012, we're starting to pick up some traction on YouTube. My YouTube videos just hit 100,000 views. Thanks to you all been watching, youtube.com/SpencerCBA6. Now that's not even the channel that you're watching this on right now. It's not Spencer FC. It's another channel I still have, now called Spencer Owen, and I intend to upload on there, again, quite shortly actually, so keep an eye on that. But yeah, 100,000 views, a big milestone for me. Interesting, June 2012, I've tweeted at #FC. Hi there, I'm interested in getting your Twitter name, which you don't seem to be using. How can I contact you? Thanks. So, 2012, that's 4 years ago. #FC was already starting to be formed in my noggin. In the end, obviously, we settled for at #UTD because the guy never got back to me. Now, another interesting one here, 31st of July 2012. Now, I've just started working at Copper 90. I've left Vincent Company. I worked for him for about 8 months during the season that Man City first won the Premier League title. At the end of the season, I left, again, not for another job. I just decided I didn't want to do that one anymore. And I basically sat around for a month making YouTube videos, doing various little things, going to the gym, waiting for something to come to me. And then it did. I let the universe decide where I should go next, and Big Balls won the Copper 90 contract. They called me up, I got involved. And I tried to get a guy you may have heard of called KSI involved, and we ended up working together. I actually was the producer for a series that he was part of on Copper 90 that he presented called KSI's Road to Wembley. You won't see me in it, but I was behind the camera on all of them. That's the first time I met KSI, but it all started with me trying to get in touch with him on Twitter. Big development in my life, this one. 9th of November 2012. Just bought a share in Real Oviedo. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know this is a club in Spain that I'm involved in, that I've done some amazing things with as a result of buying this share and making videos about them. And I was obviously tweeting out, trying to get more people to get involved in Oviedo as well. That was the day I did it. That was a big day. Here we go, next one, 11th of December 2012. This is what you call winning Division 1 of EA Sports FIFA Ultimate Team in style. 7-1. Look at my team name, #FC. It's existed for a long time, people. Yeah, so I was obviously doing okay at FIFA back then as well. In fact, I was probably better back then. I definitely was better back then. Now, I've obviously shown you a tweet I did a while ago trying to get hold of KSI. And here is later on, I actually have gone to a game with him as part of that series. Here, we're in Valencia, I believe. We've just watched Valencia versus PSG. And it's a photo of me and JJ together. Another game, shortly after that, we're at Borussia Dortmund versus Shakhtar Donetsk. Again with KSI for Copper 90. But the reason I bring this one up is actually because it's the best football atmosphere I've ever seen. Considering it was just a Champions League game, it wasn't like a final or anything. The Dortmund fans are unbelievable, and it's a question I get asked a lot because I've been to a lot of stadiums around the world. Dortmund, Signal Iduna Park is the place to go for the best fans. Unbelievable. I love this one as well. 5th of May, getting the Hadouken treatment from Alex Oshipchak. She sent me flying. You can see there, she's got immense power, that girl. Here we go then, 3rd of June 2013. Just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thanks to all of you that watch my videos. Lots more coming soon. Again, this isn't the channel you're watching this on now. It's a different channel. 2013, 3 years ago pretty much, I'd hit 1,000 subscribers. We've come a long way since then, you and me. Guys, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for today because hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is a great moment, I think. 2013 is around when I started this channel. So, you know, I actually want to take this moment, not just to thank all of you, because I hope you guys know how much it does mean to me, the support you guys show me on the videos and stuff. It's amazing. But also particularly, I want to offer a thank you to the people that have been there for a long time. Some of these guys might remember, you know, when I hit 1,000 subscribers on the different channel, Spencer Owen. You might remember some of these tweets that I've mentioned. There wasn't a lot of you back then, so if you are one of them, then fair play to you because you've been around for a while. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. Don't go changing.